Hi friends, welcome to another edition of Scrapbooking in Belize. I'm Dawn, and today we'll be looking at this art supply. As usual, before we start, I do have to have my disclaimers. One of them you're hearing right now, which is the dog that is outside. We put her outside today, and the other dog that's outside. I do have neighbors, and sometimes they will bark when the neighbors pass by. I also do live near the major highway here in Belize, so you will hear those cars and vehicles from time to time. And yes, as you notice in the background, there's still chirping going on because we still have that nursery. And right now we have a single chick that's making all the noise for every chick that is not in there right now. So she's just chirping away and she's making a lot of noise. Now let's get back to our regular scheduled program. Okay, Copics. Copics has been widely known as one of the best markers in the world. And the reason for that is that they are refillable, replaceable, and interchangeable. Unlike the Caliart and the Ohuhu, which is not replaceable or refillable. Now let's talk a little bit about these Copics. Okay, so there are basically about, I think, between 3 to 4 or 4 to 5 different types of Copics. The one I have here is the Copics Chow, and you also have the Copics Sketched. There is the Copic Wide Nib, and then there's the Copic Classic. Now we will be looking at the Copic Chow and the Copic Sketch, but let me tell you a little bit about the Copic Wide and the Copic Classic. Okay, so the Copic Wide comes with a single wide chisel nib, and I mean huge, almost, I think it's between 3/4 of an inch to about an inch wide. Then you have the Copic Classic, which comes with a chisel or broad nib on one end and a bullet or fine nib on the other. Now, I am not certain about the color variations in these two different types of Copics, but I can tell you about the color variations in the Copic Chow, which is in front of you here, and the Copic Classic. So the Copic Chow has a color variation of 144 different colors. They come in sets of 6, 12, 36, and 72. And they are the smaller versions of these Copics. As you can see, it has a little thing here to keep it in place. And it has a brush nib on one end and a bullet nib on the other. Oh, a chisel nib on the other. I don't know where I got bullet nib from, but this is a chisel broad nib on the other. Sorry about that. Now this set here of 36 have a numbering system to it. This is 36D set. There's also a 36A, 36B, 36C, 36E set. And the 72 set comes with a 72A set, a 72B set, a 72C set, and I believe there's a 72D set, but don't hold me on that. Now the Copic Sketch, sorry about that, is bigger than the Copic Chow, way bigger. You can see. Let's put this off to the side. And like the Copics Chow, the Sketch comes with a brush nib on one end and a bullet nib on the other. Now the Copic Sketch has a color variation of over 300 different colors. So while the Copic Chow, which is also very popular, has only 144, I think this is 314 different colors. The Copic Chow, the Copic Sketch comes in packs of 6, 12, 36, and 72. And like the Copic Chow, the sets of 36 also have numbers to them. You have an A set, a B set, a C set, a D set, and an E set. And the same goes for the set of 72. There is an A set, a B set, a C set, and a D set, and an E set. Now let's compare the 4 sets of alcohol-based markers that I currently own. Let's start first with the Copic Chow. We're going to compare this with the Ohuhu markers that I currently have, the Caliart markers that I currently have, and I also have a couple of the Copic Sketch. The Copic Chow has a round barrel shape. If you notice, it is the smaller of the 4 sets of markers that I have. Not only is it the smaller one, it can easily roll, but what Copic does is they have this little protrusion here on the edge. I'm not sure if you can see it very good, but there's a little protrusion right here that assists in trying to stop it from rolling off your table. I've already spoke that it has a brush nib on one side and a broad nib or a chisel nib on the other. Unlike the Ohuhu markers now, the Ohuhu, the newer version of the Ohuhu, I'm sorry, my dog is out there playing with a metal bucket. Unlike the newer version of the Ohuhu, which has an oval shape, and this comes with a fine nib on one end and a chisel nib on the other. Same as the Caliart. Caliart comes in a square shaped marker and it has a fine nib on one end and the broad nib on the other. The older Ohuhu had an oval shape for the actual markers, but the covers were blunt ended on each side, so it prevented from rolling, and there is a fine nib on one end and the broad nib on the other. And the Copic Sketch has a oval shape as well, similar to the Ohuhu here, and there's a a brush nib on one end and a broad nib on the other end. All markers have an indication to where their brush nib is or their fine nibs are located. The Copic Chow has a gray indicator here to say this is the side of the brush nib. Same, I think you can see it better on this one, the Copic Sketch. You see the gray line that indicates where the brush nib is indicated. Same as the Ohuhu old. And the Ohuhu new also has the same gray indicator, and the Caliart has a black indicator to say where their fine nib is located. Color names. Color names. Now, when it comes to color names and indication, a lot of times we like to see if the color indicated on the barrel or capped or the end of a certain art supply will match the actual color that art supply is supposed to be. And I will tell you, very, very, very rarely you will get the color indications on the cover, the ends, or the barrel of an art supply will be the same exact color that that actual art supply is. And I will always say swatch them out, because it might look like you get this color, but when you do swatch it out, it's a completely different color than what is here. So not all art supply, very, very, very rarely it happens that you get the exact color that is indicated. And for the Copics, the Copic Chow have their indication on the barrel of the marker. So this is W5, which is a warm gray number 5, and it has the color name also written on the barrel. Hoping you can see the little name there, if it focused. Now the Copic Sketch, they have the color number written on the barrel of the marker. This is a neutral gray 8, but they also have their color number and indicator and color name written on the cap. And right here it says N8, and it's neutral gray number 8. The Ohuhu, the newer version of the Ohuhu markers now, only have a number that is written, or a color indicating number that is written on the cap of the marker. There's no color names written. Now I'm using double G5 here, and because of what I know previously, I can say double G5 is definitely warm gray number 5. But if I should choose another color, let's say a number 12, the newer Ohuhu doesn't tell me what color that number 12 is. The older Ohuhu now does have the color indicating number and the color name written on the cap. So this is double G5, and right underneath it, it has warm gray. So based on previous knowledge, I would say double G number 5 is definitely warm gray number 5. Caliart now has a color indicating number on the cap, but the color name is written on their barcode sticker. So here it has written a double G number 5, and on the barcode sticker you have warm gray number 5. So it's very important not to peel off the barcode sticker for the Caliart markers. So now let's talk about the internal mechanism of the Copics, the actual ink. The actual ink of the Copics is that they're not light fast. Same as the Caliart and the Ohuhu. None of these markers are light fast. What makes Copics stand out from the other alcohol-based markers is actually their external mechanisms. For instance, I have a dog who loves to chew on everything. If my dog should destroy this particular Copics here, warm gray number 5, I can easily go back online, because I'll have to buy it online, go back online and buy back a single warm gray number 5. Now, if he should do it with the Caliart marker, destroy my warm gray number 5, I will need to go and buy the entire 100 set of Caliart just to replace the warm gray number 5 that was destroyed. The same as the Ohuhu newer set and the Ohuhu older set. They're not sold open stock. The other external mechanism that a lot of other artists or illustrator enjoys about the Copics is that it's replaceable. If I should destroy any one of the nibs on the Copics, whether it be the brush nib or the chisel nib or broad nib, I can easily go and buy back the nibs itself and replace them. Not so with the Caliart or the Ohuhu. You again will need to buy back an entire pack to replace the one marker that is damaged. The other external mechanisms artists and illustrators enjoy about the Copics is that it's refillable. Unlike the other two bargain brand markers that I have here that are not refillable. So if I should use up all my warm gray number 5, I can't go back and just buy the refill for it. Again, I'll have to buy an entire 100 pack of the Caliart to get back the warm gray number 5 that was all used up. Another perk of Copics is that Copics is excellent in teaching you about color theory. So it'll have double G5, but double 5, and also this one is E95, which can illustrate that it's a skin tone, because I think most of their skin tones have the letter E's in front of it. Their warm grays have W's in front of it. Blue green is BG. Reds are R's, yellows are Y's. So the number system is great when it comes to studying and learning color theory. Unlike the other two versions other two brands that I have, which is the Caliart and the Ohuhu, which may not be so good when it comes to studying color theory. For instance, the Ohuhu, the newer version of the Ohuhu, doesn't have letterings. Only their grays have letterings. Double G's, CCG, CG's, and I believe their blue grays and green grays have letters in front of the numbers. The other ones, like reds, it just have a single number, 12. Or if you have a blue, a cerulean blue, it'll just have the number 66. It's not a B66. Caliart, on the other hand, also have a numbering system similar to that of Copics. There is a letter in front of the number, but unlike the Copics, the Caliart uses 3 numbers in front of a single letter. For instance, red will be represented as R107, or yellow will be Y107, I believe also. And if it's blue-green, it will just be B, because they don't use two letters, sorry, they only use 1 letter. Okay, so in my pack of 36 Copics Chow, these are the colors that I currently have. They're the smaller swatches, and the larger swatches is the Copic sketch that I have. I do have a set of neutral grays, and there is a very light basic set of Copic sketch that I own. The reason why I chose the D set in the Copic Chow is because the D set does have a beautiful range of skin tones and warm grays, and I tend to use warm grays and skin tones more than I use neutral grays and cool grays. And I decided to get the D set, and then if I come out of my, I'm not sure the word, I just got stuck just now, I just got my lost of word just now, but when I transitioned into Copics, I will build my set around this. So now, before I start into the color illustration, let me talk a little bit about the paper that I am currently using. This is the Touch New marker paper that I got from AliExpress. And boy, oh boy, does this make a world of difference when using alcohol-based markers. And the reason being is because the alcohol-based marker seems to be more smoother on this paper. It goes on much easier than it does on the other papers that I used, like for instance the Bristol board. It goes on smoother on this than it does on Bristol board. It almost glides on this paper. The one, I would say, objection I have with this paper is this, the bleed through. The markers does bleed through a lot on this paper. One of the solutions that I did to prevent it from bleeding through on the clean sheet underneath is that I created this, a little flap. This is a piece of Bristol board which I taped to the back, and I created this little flap, and so whenever I have any illustration I need to do to prevent it from doing any bleed through, I just put this down here, and it allows me to color without destroying the page underneath, as you can see. So I'll be using this particular paper to do my alcohol-based illustration on, and my comparison. Okay, so we're going to get into our color illustration, and as you can see, what I've done is I try to use colors that almost are similar to each other. Okay? Okay, and there we go. There we have it. I'm all done. I cannot say that this is brighter than this or this has more color variation than the Ohuhu, because I try to match the colors as close as possible, especially with the newer Ohuhu. I cannot tell you if these are the same colors because this doesn't come with any color names, only a color indication number and the Caliart. And none of the Copic colors that I have here match any of the color names for my Caliart. The only one that match, believe it or not, is warm gray number 5. That's the only color I have in all of my 3 sets of markers that I own. And as you can see, the Ohuhu and the Caliart warm gray number 5 is similar. However, the Copic warm gray number 5 is very, very light. And that's it. Thank you so much for joining me here on Scrapbooking in Belize, and please don't forget to subscribe. I do have a 100 subscriber giveaway still going on, and if you're lucky, I will send the prize to you wherever you are in the world. Thank you so much, and join me next time for another edition of Scrapbooking in Belize. Bye!